For the people that's not familiar with you, introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather G. I'm originally from Baltimore, went to Baltimore School for the Arts with Tupac. Went to my senior prom with Tupac. Um, was good friends with him in high school. And now I'm a mom to a 16-year-old.
So before we get into Tupac, right, what years did you attend a Baltimore School of the Arts?
I, s- 84, I started in 84 and graduated 88.
What is the requirements to get into a school like that?
So you need to have some sort of talent. Like mine was acting, which was a long time ago. As you can see, I'm a little nervous in the interview. But yeah, so I used to be an actress. So a long time ago. You have to have some sort of, talent that you audition. It can be music, it can be visual arts, it can be dance. And then, you know, if you get accepted, then you're in. And you don't have to live in the city. You can live in the suburbs. You pay like a nominal amount, and then you go to the city school.
How was it like for you growing up in Baltimore?
I mean, I love Baltimore. I lived in the county, and when I was old enough, I would drive to school every day, park somewhere near the school, and walk to the school. And the Baltimore School for the Arts was like a completely different experience than any other school that people think about. We were one like big, huge, happy family there. And there was a lot of freedom. Like, for example, they allowed smoking cigarettes. They had a smoking section in the cafeteria. You could walk out during lunchtime, walk down to, Ready Market or the Inner Harbor and just hang out and come back for a class. And it was very, very relaxed. So that's sort of the way my whole upbringing was. Very relaxed. Yeah,
I never heard of that before for a high school. So they had a smoking session for y'all.
they did. They did. They had a smoking table. Yeah. And then also they people would come in, before you came to homeroom in the morning, they'd all be smoking right outside we had this like little step outside the school, and people would smoke in the morning before they went to school. Yeah, it was a totally different experience than what's going on today.
Right, right. So you go into the Baltimore School of the Arts and Tupac, he arrived for the first time. Take me through the first time you met Tupac.
Oh wow. So you're making me go way back. But so Tupac was a year younger than me. And he uh he came to in school, I believe I was in 11th and he might have been 10th when he first came in. And all I can remember is this new kid came in, he was really good looking, and had a really like just cool, charismatic way about him. But we all thought it was really, his name was a little odd. We're like, Tupac, what kind of name is that? But anyway, it was just all of a sudden we're like, got to know him, and, he's part of the family, and it happened so quickly. I mean, it's just like, that's the way things are at School for the Arts. Everybody's accepting of everybody and everything.
You're right, right. And he came from New York to Baltimore. Did y'all know that?
I didn't know a whole lot about it. All I knew that his mother was a Black Panther. And I believe he told me he was born in jail. But that's all I knew about that. I mean, it's funny because now I've learned so much more about him that he's become so famous, and talking about, just uh, basically like back then, it was when you're in high school, you have such tunnel vision. So you see people in like just one light, and you don't see anything outside of that. And now I know so much more about him that I didn't know then. But anyway,
How did you and Tupac become friends?
well, we were both in theater. So the theater departments were really small. So you're always doing like improvs together, and you're getting to know everybody. I mean, you know everybody in this school. It's not like, like my son's school where he's got like, 3,000 people in there, and he cannot know most of the people. I mean, everybody knows everybody in this school. So it's kind of like, as soon as you meet somebody, you get to know so much about them. There's so much that's revealed in these acting classes because you really have to reach deep down and into deep parts of who you are and share that. So that happened quickly.
How was he as a student? Was he a good student or a bad student?
I mean, we all kind of got in trouble. You know, that was who we, we were kind of wild kids and we were all fun and we pushed it to the limit. I mean, there were times we had an indoor swimming pool because it was a hotel that got remodeled, the school. So at times we would sneak in and go skinny dipping in the pool, that kind of thing, like things that you just can't imagine at any other high school, right? Um, but as far as Tupac, I mean, he was in there with us, with all the mischief, but I mean, he's your normal everyday kid, just like all of us. There were different ensembles, and we were in. I think that he was in the ensemble below me, if I remember correctly. So because he was a year younger, then he would be in the ensemble below me. But I still got to know him because, again, small school, everyone's hanging out. And he also dated my best friend. So that was a whole nother piece. And that's kind of how we became close.
Oh, okay, I see. So he was dating your best friend, and that's how you and Tupac got so close. Tell me about that. Him dating your best friend.
So, I mean, I think they just started to like each other the way things happen in high school. And so her name was Kathy, and he dated Kathy. So Kathy and I were together. We were inseparable together all the time. And so because of that, then Tupac, when they were dating, Tupac became a really big part of my life too, and a really good friend of mine. So eventually they broke up. So when prom happened, she was actually went to prom with us in the limousine. So it was all okay by then. And I asked her if it was okay and all that. But so, yeah, so really that's how I got close with him because of Kathy.
Speaking of prom, how did that come about? You and Tupac going to prom? Because I always see that picture online, and I
Yeah.
always wonder, what was the story behind that?
So my senior prom, I asked him to go with me. I wasn't dating anyone at the time. And he was a good friend. And I asked Kathy if it would be okay. Would she be all right if I asked him to prom? She's like, I don't care, because they were done by then. And so yeah, I mean, like I just asked him and we were really good friends. And he's like, sure, I'll go to prom with you. But it's interesting because so once I asked him, then he got very, how to explain, like he wrote me this letter. And in the letter, he was telling me about, oh, you don't have to worry about us going to prom together. I'm not going to live up to my reputation. And I was confused by the letter because I remember thinking, I asked him, why is he writing me this letter? But it was just sort of like, just him saying, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. And we all, I wasn't worried about anything anyway. So, and then he gave me it was my birthday came before prom and he gave me this birthday card. And it was so cute. It was and I had the card for a really long time. And I'll tell you the story of how I lost it. But it was a card, greeting card with a big brown bear surrounding a little white bear. And he was like, the big bear, he had a little thing pointing, that's me and that's you. And inside he was just like, I hope you have a great birthday. It was, that kind of thing. But it was interesting because he started to sign his name, or not sign his name, but he started to, whenever he used the word to, like TO, like when you're talking about like happy birthday to you, he started using the number 2. And I thought it was really cool the way eventually he changed his name to the number 2Pac, because I'm like, oh, that's where that came from. He's been doing that since high school, right? So, but anyway, that was how it led up to prom. And prom night, Kathy and I decided that we would rent a limousine and to drive us because we knew we were going to be going so I lived in the county and the prom was downtown, at Belvedere, really, really nice hotel. And then we planned to have dinner at Little Italy in Baltimore before the prom. So I was like, let's hire the limo for all night. Have them take us to Little Italy, take us to the prom, take us to the parties afterwards, and that way we'll be, all set. And she's like, okay, we'll do that. So we split it, and we didn't even ask our dates. Tupac and her date was this guy Tyler. We didn't even ask them to pitch it because, it was like our thing, and we were the older, and we had asked them, and so we paid for the limousine. So that was how it all came to be.
Did you ever find out what he meant by that letter he gave you?
No, no. I mean, it was just kind of like I read the letter and just thought, huh, I didn't really feel a need to address it with him. But I mean, I think I know what he meant. I guess he hooked up with a number of girls. He had a number of girlfriends. He had been with my best friend, Kathy. So I think that he was thinking, I don't know, I would be concerned about it, but I didn't have any concerns.
What was everybody's reaction when they seen both of y'all show up to prom together?
So, well, everybody knew that we were all going together. It was kind of like just a group of friends. But the best part, this is a really funny story. So, we hired this limousine, right? We were at Little Italy, and it was supposed to stay there and like hang out all night and wait for us to take us to the next place and the next place. It was sort of that package deal. And we finished dinner at Little Italy. We come out and limo's gone, and we're waiting there and waiting there. We're about to be late for prom, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So eventually, I get a call into the limousine company. The limo had left and broken down somewhere, so they ended up having to send us a van to pick us up and take us to prom, and we were late. So everybody was happy when we eventually got there. They're like, "Oh, we thought you weren't coming," And so we showed up in the van, and then eventually, I can't remember if the van stayed with us the rest of the night or if they sent a limo. I don't remember that part, but I remember being stood up by the limousine.
Wow, that's insane, man. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
This is an entertaining story, man. So y'all go to prom. So what do y'all do afterwards, after prom is over?
So then there were a couple parties. So Tupac was actually planning on having an after party at his place. So he had an apartment that he lived with his family. This is really interesting too. It was on, I think, it's in like Greenmount Avenue or something like that in Baltimore. And so we went to another party first at this girl named Tanya's house. So it was sort of like and she had, if I'm remembering it right, I remember like a big open basement with two big speakers and just a lot of dancing. And there were parents there, so there was supervision there. And it was, it was fun, but we didn't spend too long there. And then I think we still had the limousine or the van, whichever it was at that point. And then they took us to Tupac's place. And so Tupac's place was where we ended the night. And it was really strange to me because we went in the apartment and there was no supervision. I mean, we were totally on our own. And I think he was living there with an uncle or something like that. So I don't know the whole story. And I've heard since that there's, I don't know if his mom was in and out of there or what, but it basically, like, it was ready to party. I mean, like, they had beers in the fridge that they shared with everybody, and we had brought some of our own stuff, and it was just very casual. So it was a totally different scene from the party we had been at previously. But it was just all of our friends just laid back and hanging out at Tupac's apartment with no parental supervision. Nothing, right? And we all stayed over there. Everybody slept there.